So welcome back to my channel. If you are new, then welcome and hello. I have been doing intermittent fasting for 3 weeks now, and I decided to give it a review. So the first thing I had to figure out was, what the heck is intermittent fasting? So after researching, reading about it, watching other videos about it, I found out that there are many variations of fasting. But I chose to go with the most popular one, which is the one that most people wanted to see my review, see my opinion on, which is the 16-8 split. So what that means is you're fasting for 16 hours, which seems like, whoa, you're not eating for 16 hours, but it actually counts the time you're sleeping as well, so it's not too bad. And then you're eating for 8 hours. So the way I did it was I would start eating at 12 o'clock, so lunchtime, and I stop eating around 8 o'clock. So probably the question that everyone wants to know, why you clicked on this video, why you want to know more about intermittent fasting, is because, well, hello, will this help me lose weight? Is this the new magical thing where if I fast, I'm going to lose weight? And there's really no straight answer for that because it all depends. Yes on one hand, no on the other. Intermittent fasting is not a diet, and that's pretty much the main thing that I want to get across in this video. The fasting side of it is nothing. Like, that is not a diet. It's not like when you go on a calorie restriction diet, that's a diet, or you go on a low carb diet, that's a diet. Like I mentioned in my calorie versus carb video, there's always a way to cheat the system. If you do eat for only that 8-hour time frame, so you're doing the 16-8 split like what I did, you could eat McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, and just gain weight the whole time. It's not like this magical thing where the fasting part of it is gonna be like, whoop, it's like it never happened because now I'm fasting. Really, the whole reason why people do intermittent fasting is it's a different eating pattern. At the end of the day, intermittent fasting is just another way of eating, but you still have to eat healthy, you still have to choose the right things, you still have to exercise. So you might be thinking what I was thinking, and what's the point? Like, why even do it if you're not going to all of a sudden start losing weight really fast, or, I don't know, your body's gonna start changing in all the right ways? It's great for people that want a time frame. They want to know when I should eat, when I stop eating, if you would rather eat bigger meals, but less time throughout the day, if that makes sense. So instead of eating small to decent sized meals throughout the day, you're eating bigger meals, but less, in that 8-hour time frame. Another reason why I love intermittent fasting is it just once again proves that there's not one diet that fits all. There's not one lifestyle that fits all, You could eat 6 small meals throughout the day. You could eat 3 big meals throughout the day, whatever you want to do, whatever fits your lifestyle. If you're someone that wakes up at like 4 a.m. to go to work or school or something, and your stomach is not even hungry at that time, this may be something for you. You're eating bigger meals but less meals, if that makes sense, because you only have an 8-hour time frame. And what I found, and this is my personal experience, this might not be everybody, but I was more full when I was doing intermittent fasting. I was like, really satisfied, maybe because the meals were much bigger than I'm used to, or, I don't know, but I just felt like, wow, I feel full longer, which is important on a diet, because if you don't feel satisfied and, you feel like I need another snack, I need another this, then, chances are you could overeat and then you don't lose weight. So in that sense, yeah, I liked intermittent fasting because I liked that I was eating bigger meals and they were keeping me full longer. Another thing that I want to talk about is, I don't know if you were supposed to do this, but I did this. Okay, so you would start eating at 12 o'clock, or that's when I would do it. I would still have coffee and water in that time frame when I wasn't eating. So, I don't know, once again, that could be something that super disciplined people that are like bodybuilders and stuff, maybe they don't do that, but I definitely did because I need coffee in the morning. I'm like, ugh.
So here's an example of something that I would eat after fasting all morning and then finally eating at lunch. I would have some fruit. Sam O challenge, what's up? I would have a turkey and cheese sandwich on that low carb wrap, and I would have fish and rice, which is in the container.
If you do like the eating small meals throughout the day, 6 to 8, I don't know, I don't even know what people do anymore, but however many, but you know what I mean. You like eating smaller meals because you feel like you're eating all day. Intermittent fasting is not for you. If you want to eat less meals but bigger meals, intermittent fasting is for you. And for that reason, I did like it because I don't know, I just felt like I stayed full longer. A con is that the first week, holy guacamole, I had no energy. I was like, ugh. By the second week, my body was already like, yeah, I got this. So the beginning was hard. I'm like, at like 10:30, I was like, I'm starving. I can't do this, but I, powered through it because I do know that your body can get used to different things. Yes, a few days a week, but no, not every single day. The reason being is because there are certain times of the day, depending on what I have going on, if I have an important Skype meeting or, an in-person meeting, or I'm getting orders together for snow, I need to eat breakfast. I just think that there's some days where I think breakfast is really important, and then there's other days where I'm so busy I can't even think about food at that time. I'm just like, I have to do this, and that. Everything I read on intermittent fasting and the people that are like all for it, a lot of them don't do it every single day. They do it here and there, or they do it a few days a week. They add it into their routine. So for me, I definitely agree with that 100%. I think there's days that it makes sense, and then there's days that it doesn't make sense. I don't think that this would be great for somebody in school taking tests in the morning. I really do feel that, especially when I was in college, if I had to take, a really hard test or something that I studied for all night and all week and whatever, I think breakfast is really important. And I think that, I did better on my tests that I had breakfast before. So if you have a class at, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., I think I would eat breakfast. I just thought that I would put that out there because I do know I have students that watch my channel, and I would never take a test without eating first, because if you're sitting there and your stomach starts growling and you start to get distracted, I don't think that this would work for that lifestyle, for the college lifestyle, for the high school lifestyle. I don't think that it would be the best choice. But once again, that's my personal opinion. At the end of the day, intermittent fasting may not be for everybody. This is not how I lost the majority of my weight. This is not how, I got into shape. This is just something I started 3 weeks ago. So, no, you don't have to do intermittent fasting to lose weight. If this sounds awful to you, waiting until 12 to eat, or, you can make up your own times, but that's just what I did because I saw that a lot of other people did it like that. But yeah, if that sounds completely awful to you, no, you don't need to do this to lose weight. You can be successful doing it to fit your lifestyle. Ultimately, intermittent fasting is just a great way for people that work at offices, or just a different lifestyle for people that don't have time to eat small meals throughout the day. Another pro that I can think of with intermittent fasting is it does cut off the time of when you should stop eating at night, because you're only eating in a window of time. So if you are used to eating, a ton of snacks at night and you're not really sure, should you be eating that, but it's healthy, but should you eat that? When should I stop? It is great because it does give you that cutoff time. And the same with the beginning of the day too. If you feel like you over snack, or if you feel like, you just don't know when you should eat, or you don't know what you should eat, this kind of can help map it out for you and create a little schedule for you. Last thing that I want to talk about is, did I lose weight on it, and did I personally notice a difference in my body while doing intermittent fasting? And I actually don't weigh myself. I don't think the number on the scale matters. I do think that my stomach is looking more toned. I'm seeing more lines down the side, where before I just mainly had lines up top, but now I'm seeing them go all the way down. And I think the reason is because I was starting to snack a lot more. So it was more helpful to have a scheduled time and less snacking. Leave any comments or concerns down below. Let us know if you've tried it or not, because I'm sure in the comment section it would be nice to know if anybody else have tried it, and did you feel it was helpful? Did you feel you lost weight? Or do you like eating smaller meals throughout the day? I would love to know, and I'm actually really curious about that. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon, and have a great day. Bye!